The Atlanta Braves have done one thing very well since the start of the offseason. It is cut salary. That continued on Friday with the non-tender deadline. Both Ramon Laureano and Griffin Canning were not tendered contracts, which saved the teams. It was $6 million for Laureano, about $5 million for Griffin Canning. There were a couple others, so they saved well over $10 million. And when you combine that with the restructures of Ronaldo Lopez and Aaron Bummer, the decision to trade Jorge Soler and not pick up the contract option of Travis d'Arnaud, you're looking about $40 to $50 million saved against next year's salary cap. And that is a large chunk of change. And that's not even taking into consideration the fact that Max Fried's contract could be coming off the books. Charlie Morton's coming off the books. AJ Minter's coming off the books. You're looking at $70-80 million if the Braves don't save those guys from last year's salary. Now, there are some contracts that are escalating. Michael Harris, Spencer Strider, those. Still, a lot of money saved, a lot of holes to fill, and it looks like they're setting up for something potentially big.
Yeah, I mean, he's hoarding cash. His war chest is ready. That is Alex Anthopoulos and Ken Rosenthal reported today, semi-reported. I guess he just kind of stated the obvious, that Alex Anthopoulos is going to pounce, and he's going to pounce quickly on the pitching market because we need a reliever, maybe multiple relievers and a pitcher and a starter, and Rosenthal was less confident about Anthopoulos making a bigger swing in the outfield, mainly just saying that he's going to wait for the big dogs to kind of sign and then kind of go bargain shopping, which, basically Alex Anthopoulos' MO with the anticipation that Ronald Acuna Jr. is only going to miss about a month of this season to 2 months of the season, come back, be that guy. So I think Braves fans, this isn't something new though. Every offseason we're kind of spoiled where we're going to get one blockbuster, at least one blockbuster, sometimes multiple blockbusters. And it's right around this time, right around Thanksgiving. Last year, Chris Sale trade was at the end of December, but the years prior, Matt Olson, Sean Murphy, and their subsequent contract extensions happened right around this time of the year, right around the winter meetings. And they're saving salary, they're saving payroll, cutting payroll for a reason. They're gearing up for, what should be a highly entertaining offseason.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Yusei Kikuchi get 3 years, $63 million from the Los Angeles Angels. Why the Angels are spending all this money, already spent over $100 million this offseason on a 63-win team. Never quite makes a ton of sense. I don't hate the actual contract for Kikuchi. I just think it would have gone to I would have been more, like expecting like a team like the Texas Rangers or the Houston Astros to bring him back. And the Los Angeles Angels are out there always making the first moves of the offseason, which it's like a tradition unlike any other. As they say, the Angels doing things that you don't quite understand. But that gives you an idea of what the starting pitching market could look like. It's going to be north of $20 million for any worthwhile starter. Like I'm talking the Nathan Eovaldi's. I mean, you're probably looking at 3 years, $75 million, 3 years, $80 million. So we know the Braves have been linked to him. Max Fried is going to get well over double what Kikuchi got. I mean, he could be sniffing 160, 170, maybe even closer to $200 million. So it's going to be pricey for the starting pitching market, and that's why you see them saving all this cash. I'm not totally ruling out an outfielder, and the reason I'm not going to totally rule out them going a little bit bigger in the outfield is when you look at the Atlanta Braves roster, they do need to improve the lineup. I really do believe that. I know guys are getting healthy, but I think they need to get better. And the only places you can get better are shortstop, which we talked about. Not going to be easy unless they're going to get in the Willy Adames, seriously get in the Willy Adames sweepstakes, and left field because you're expecting Ronald Acuna to come back. And left field, an outfielder, any outfielder can play left field. I know that Rosenthal kind of hinted that wouldn't be where the Braves spend their money. Wouldn't be totally shocked simply because that's really the only place you can upgrade this lineup. And there are some guys available. So I'm interested to see if they do make a little bit bigger swing, because I think you can do a lot better than Ramon Laureano, which is why I thought they would non-tender him, even though a lot of people thought it was a coin flip.
I don't know why people are too shocked because there's a dozen Ramon Laureanos out there that you can just go scoop up for probably at that price or less in a couple of months later in the offseason. Or hell, even at the trade deadline. I mean, that is one role that'll never
even even on waivers in the middle of the season, which is how he got Ramon Lariano.
I don't know why. It's that role is the easiest one to fill in all of baseball. That role specifically, just a guy who can give you some home run, provide some sort of spark, and play some quality defense in the outfield. Like that's a dime a dozen. Like I don't understand how anybody.
And the Braves have been able to fill. The Braves have been able to fill that role fairly easy throughout. I mean, the Kellenic didn't work out great, but I mean, Ramon Lariano himself, Eddie Rosario, like they Jock Peterson, Jorge Soler, like they're all the same kind of players that aren't going to be very expensive and maybe at the current moment are undervalued. And yeah, they're going to be available throughout the offseason, into the season, at the trade deadline. So I wasn't shocked that they did that, but I do think it could signal that they want to go a little bit bigger. And listen, I personally, if this was just a me decision, which it's obviously not, I would like to see them go a little bit bigger in the outfield. I would like to see them add a little more depth to this lineup because it was something that was clearly missing last year. And I know we just say everybody's going to get healthy and we're going to get better. And you're right. They are definitely going to be better. But I want to get back to 2023 levels. And to get back to 2023 levels, I think you need to add more depth to this lineup because not everyone's going to have career years like they did in 2023. We saw that last year. Even when guys were healthy, people have down years. And it worked out the way where everyone seemingly had a down year. And that's not going to happen again. But everyone's not going to have an up year too, like they did in 2023. So I think adding some depth to this lineup is very, very important. I don't think they're going to get Willy Adames, even though I would absolutely love it. And left field is the one area where you can go in, and it's not going to cost an arm and a leg. It wouldn't cost an arm and a leg to go get a guy like Jock Peterson again, right? Like there's upgrades like in between Juan Soto and Ramon Lariano. Like there's a lot of guys in between that where the Braves can be like, all right, we don't have to spend top dollar. I'm sure they'll find a value that they like, but I'm still expecting them to upgrade over Lariano. I don't think it's just going to be, let's find another Ramon Lariano later in the offseason. Like go out there and spend $15, $20 million on a guy that's going to be can start every day and hit 25 to 30 homers. It doesn't have to be an all-star, but a guy that adds some pop down at the bottom, near the bottom of the order.
I think it's just about being light on your feet. He's just shredding or shedding fat. He's just trying to stay light, stay lean. That way, when an opportunity, whether it's an outfielder, a starter, a reliever, via trade or free agency, he's in a position to immediately pounce, not have to make moves. We're just lean and light and ready to attack. That's pretty much what Alex Anthopoulos has done. Yeah. And I don't think there's a rhyme or reason just yet. Like, I think market is going to dictate what Alex Anthopoulos does.
Yeah, I mean, he said it earlier in the offseason. You're juggling a lot of balls. I mean, I'm sure he's got several pitching targets that if they come down to the price of his liking, boom, I'm pouncing on that. It's the same thing with left field. There's probably 5-10 guys where he's like, hey, I'm willing to go to this number with this guy. And listen, the Braves have a lot of pull. You're a competitive team. You're in Atlanta. You're in a great market. People love playing for you. And that attracts a lot of free agents where it's not purely about dollars. Like people are willing to go $2-3 million less.
The Braves wouldn't have. Yeah, the Angels having to pay a premium, that's not our world, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely nice. The Angels, to say they have to pay a premium, they might have to time the 2x premium to come play. Yeah. The one thing they do have is you get to go play in Los Angeles. Hey, and there's no pressure because you suck. Yeah. If you just want to go out there and collect a check.
Well, that's not true. This is the Ron Washington Angels. Wash is in there with pressure on you.
Yeah. I agree. Let's get into a little more football. We'll talk about NFL, what happened on Sunday, specifically with the Tampa Bay Bucks.